and threaten to be our life. Here.
Good evening, calling to order our special meeting of the governing board Tuesday, January 27th at 2026 at 5:01. I, Irene Lopez, the president of the governing board, call the January 27, 26 special board meeting at the San Ysidro School District to order at 5:01. I'm sorry, I don't sure that. Before we begin a roll call, I would like to inform the public that all translations will be conducted simultaneously today via headset. If any member of the public would like translation from English to Spanish or Spanish to English, please visit the translator's table to pick up a headset. Oh, timing zero. I will now ask our secretary to the board and acting superintendent Manuel Bojorquez to conduct the roll call for attendance.
Good evening, Madam President. We'll start with the roll call. Ms. Irene Lopez, President.
Present.
Ms. Senada Rosario, Board Vice President.
Present.
Mr. Martin Arias, Board Clerk.
Present.
Mr. Antonio Martinez, Board Member.
Present.
And Ms. Kenya Garza, Board Member.
Present.
Madam President, we have quorum, all 5 board members present.
Thank you. Would you please stand for the flag salute? With the right hand over, the right hand over the time. The flag forward. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now, like to make a motion to approve the agenda. Made, I have a second. I second. Thank you, Snyder, second by Snyder. I have, the motion has been made, seconded by board vice president. Snyder, may I have a vote?
Aye.
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 Aye. Passes 5-0. It is subsidiary.
We're in the public comment on communication from closed session items.
Okay. Public comments must be adhered to civility board policy 1313, which promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among all members of the school community, including employees, board members, contractors, parents, and guardians, students, and the public. This policy is not intended to restrict any person's constitutional right to free expression on school grounds or at a district activities. Uncivil or harassing conduct by any member of the San Ysidro School District community is harmful to the educational environment and will not be permitted. Civil behavior includes politeness, courtesy, integrity, honesty, timelessness, dependability, adherence to laws and rules, and effective communication. Students, staff, parents, and guardians, and community members are expected to communicate and behave in ways that do not disrupt district operations, hinder learning, or create unsafe environment. So now we're on 5 public comment communications on closed session items. And we have, no. Okay. 6.3, and this is for Jennifer Ramirez.
Board, President, trustees, Dr. Potter, who's not with us this evening. My name is Jennifer Dahlquist Ramirez, and I'm speaking on 6-3 Conference with Legal Counsel and Anticipated Litigation. I want to be so clear about why I'm here. I'm not here to discuss confidentiality of cases or specific cases. I'm here to raise a governance question about what keeps creating the need for San Diego districts to repeatedly discuss litigation in closed session at all. And I want to be clear about scope. It's not just this district. What I'm seeing is a regional pattern across San Diego County. At the same time, now that I work with districts across the country, I'm also seeing something else. Districts that are not experiencing this level of recurring legal escalation because their systems are designed differently. For context, I am a non-legal education advocate, and I have been since 2005. I'm also CEO of Gen Ed Enterprises, where my work focuses on system design, implementation integrity, and dispute prevention in public education. I worked inside the San Diego Union High School District for 17 years. And for over 2 decades, I've successfully navigated complex special education disputes without attorneys across California, including here in San Diego and in Long Beach and in other states. I've secured and implemented placements across the full continuum, including non-public placements in residential school. These are implemented outcomes and receipts, not theory. Because of that experience locally and regionally and nationally, I can say this with confidence: litigation is not inevitable. It is the predictable result of upstream system failures. When clarity breaks down, compliance drifts, documentation and delivery fall out of alignment, and escalation becomes the default instead of early resolution. So the public question I'm putting before this board is appropriate and necessary and timely and now. What system conditions are driving this district into anticipated litigation, and why are those same conditions not present in some districts? If a region becomes consistently unique in that same category of conflict, that is not a people problem, that is an architectural problem. And architecture is governed. Closed session should be the exception, not the operational norm. Litigation is not inevitable. It is a design outcome. Change the design, and the need for litigation goes down with it. My name is Jennifer. I believe in multi-tiered systems of sustainability and universal design for living. I want to partner with you, and I've tried in the past. I'm here and ready.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. Agenda number 5 is closed session.
So we're at, we're in recess. So I'd like to make a motion to recess to closed session in accordance with section 54954.5. I'll make that motion.
I'd like to second.
Can I have a vote?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. So we will adjourn. Oh.
Recess at
recess. So we're gonna be recessing to closed session under 6.1 Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with labor negotiations. Also 6.2 Government Code Section 54957, public employee discipline dismissal, release, reassignment. 6.3 conference with legal counsel anticipated litigation. Significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 of the subdivision D of section 54956.9. And
5-4.
Madam President, we are live.
Yeah, how total will now reconvene to open session from closed session at 7:09. And
There's nothing to report.
there's nothing to report on. Okay. Before we begin the open session, I would like to inform the public that all translations will be conducted simultaneously today via headset. If any member of the public would like translation from English to Spanish or Spanish to English, please visit the translator's table to pick up a headset. It's only at the back. So we're now, number 8, roll call. I will now ask our secretary to the board and acting superintendent Manuel Fernández to conduct the roll call here.
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Irene Lopez, President.
President?
Ms. Zenaida Rosario, Board Vice President.
Present.
Mr. Martin Arias, Board Clerk. Present. Mr. Antonio Martinez, Board Member.
Present.
Ms. Kenya Peraza, Board Member.
Present.
All 4 members present, Madam President. We have 4.
So,
New public on open session.
right. We have Jennifer. Doug. The request.
Dahlquist.
Dahlquist.
Safety first, fidelity always. Good evening, Board President and trustees. I'm going to ask you to listen a little differently tonight, because this comment is not about grievance. It's about governance. I am Jennifer Dahlquist Ramirez. I've been a non-legal advocate since 2005 and the founder and CEO of GenEd Enterprises and the GenEd Foundation, and spent 17 years working inside the San Diego Union High School District. I now work in and with districts across the country. School board governance only matters when it produces measurable outcomes for students and sustains healthy, supported educators at every level of the district. The clearest place to see whether governance is functioning is special education, because an IEP is not a policy document. It is a daily operating plan and a binding promise about what a child will actually receive. Governance fails when districts require general education teachers to implement IEPs without ever training them to do so. That is not accountability. It is structural neglect. It preserves an artificial divide between general education and special education that no longer reflects how students live, learn, or move through school. Students across settings seamlessly. Systems do not. Students do cross those settings. And they do it successfully. The result is predictable. Services drift, timelines slip, documentation diverges from delivery, families escalate because there is no reliable mechanism for early correction. When that happens, the district pays twice when a family is privileged. First in lost access and educational harm, and later in compensatory services and disputes and legal costs. This is not accidental, it's preventable cost created by implementation failure. At GenEd, I developed universal design for living and learning, because there is no learning without sustainable systems. Before performance, there must be conditions. That is why multi-tiered systems of sustainability must come before instruction. So educators are trained, supported, and equipped to deliver what is written consistently and with fidelity. Districts that reduce conflict and cost govern differently. They unify responsibility across general and special education, invest in training, verify service delivery, measure fidelity, and budget for prevention rather than repair. Governance that does not reach the classroom does not function. Remember the story by Hans Christian Andersen, The Emperor's New Clothes? A room full of adults applauding what isn't there. If it isn't trained, supported, and verifiable, it isn't governance, it's performance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We're on 10 now. General administration. We will now move on to general administration action item.
10.1, governance workshop.
I would like to ask you, this is official Maryland Peterson and retired superintendent, San Diego County Office of Education, appointed financial advisor, Mr. Timothy Glover, to present the district budget update and financial outlook presentation.
Good evening, Board President, Mrs. Lopez, members of the board, Mr. Bojorquez, and community. Tonight's presentation provides a budget update and financial outlook for our district. The district's first interim report was presented at the December board meeting. The district filed a negative budget certification, which means that the district will not meet its financial obligations in the current and subsequent fiscal year. We will cover the main factors impacting our budget in the next few slides. This first slide it provides a chart for the current history and fiscal stability and responsible financial management. For the since 2021, we have certified positive during our budget certifications up until 24-25. We have had no financial audit findings, 21-22. Currently, we are in the process of our annual external audits, and we hope to bring the audit report in March to the board. The next slide, credit ratings and fiscal outlook from Moody's. We have scored A2 for bond ratings, stable outlook, and you can see A2s and A3s with stable outlook and positive outlooks. For our GEO bond audits, no financial audit findings from 2021 through 23-24. And we are also conducting an audit for our GEO bonds, which is a requirement every year. For the one in progress right now is for 24-25. We have received a score of A+ for the last 3 years from the San Diego County Taxpayers Association for our bond transparency report cards. Transparent and ongoing budget reporting. We present to the board 4 times per year. In June, it's the proposed and adopted budget. September, unaudited actuals, which is from the prior year. December is we report first interim financial report, and in March, the second interim financial report. The budget reports are publicly available through our board agendas and the district's website, and board presentations are recorded via the district's YouTube live stream recordings. In this section are the factors impacting the district's budget. We start with our decline in enrollment over the 9-year period. So in 17-18, the enrollment was 4,731. And then in 25-26, based on CBIT's reporting, 4,148, which is a loss of about 583 students. And this is the size, this number of students is size of one elementary school. The decline is, the estimated revenue loss is about $9 million. And we have implemented a budget reduction plan since 1920. In this current fiscal year, the budget reduction plan for 25-26 is $2 million. The low state COLA, cost of living adjustment, is not enough to cover the ongoing costs from one school year to the next. And this current school year, it's 2.30% is the COLA. And you can see here, step-in column, the cost of health and welfare benefit, increase in pension, that's already 2.9. So, and then the consumer price index at 3.37%, and that's the inflation on food, gas, just purchases. And I believe and the district would need a minimum COLA of 4% each year in order to cover operating costs. So next year, the state projects a 2.41% COLA, and in 27-28, a 3.06% COLA. Special education costs continue to rise. In this current fiscal year, we estimate special education costs at $15.5 million. Federal and state revenue sources covers about $5 million, and the general fund contributes $10.5 million in this current fiscal year. We anticipate or we project increase in special education costs approximately $500,000 to $1 million per year. The enrollment has increased for our district by 20%. So 20% of our student population are our student with special needs. The state average is 15%, so we are 5% above the state average. The federal IDEA was enacted with a commitment to fund 40%, but for our district, the federal special education funding only covers 8%, not the 40%. Also impacting our budget, one-time discretionary block grant will be fully expended in this current fiscal year of $1.6 million. So we have a gap there on our own ongoing revenues. The high volume of complaints over the past 2 years, the cost of responding and investigating complaints, $500,000 per year. This $500,000 was not budgeted, so this has impacted our budget. We also negotiated agreements for SYEA. We have and the Me Too clause for all bargaining units, salary increase beginning in this current month, January 2026, 1% on schedule, and then 2% July 2026, a 2% on schedule. We also increase the health and welfare benefit cap to $13,260 for full-time employees. So the total cost for the entire package is estimated at $2.3 million. The cost for classified employee reclassifications over the last 3 years estimated at $800,000. This is a potential federal education funding reductions since we don't, the federal government operates a different fiscal year from October through September. Ours is July through June. So there's unknown on the federal education funding reductions and elimination. But this is the estimated allocation for each program. So the National School Lunch Program, known as CEP, or Community Eligibility Program, CEP, the allocation is estimated at $2.4 million. And then titles 1 through 4, allocation totals $1.86 million. We know that, Dr. Iniguez, we know that the CEP program will not fully go away. It will only change the criteria.
Right, so we're still waiting word as to whether or not they're gonna raise the threshold district-wide. If it does, we still anticipate that our schools, some of our schools individually will still qualify. But the question is, will we qualify district-wide? So we're still waiting for the official notification.
And Maryland, this is not certain that these categorical funding will be eliminated, correct?
Correct.
It's just,
It's proposal.
yeah, so it's,
Yeah. Mhm.
okay.
Every year, the district contracts with an external auditor So it is a requirement, ed code requirement, and this chart here represents the majority of the audit components. So I'll just highlight a few of federal compliance and state compliance, attendance testing, internal controls. Then we have, local control accountability plan. These are some of the components for the audit, and we are currently in the 24-25 audit. And we hope to bring that to the board in March. For this one, I will just read the ed code. It says, in accordance with Education Code 42127.6A1, the San Diego County Office of Education has assigned a fiscal advisor to support the district. County Offices of Education has fiscal oversight responsibilities under Assembly Bill 1200, and the fiscal advisor will work closely with the county's business team to provide guidance and support. And that is our Dr. Tim Glover. And Dr. Glover has attended 2 cabinet meetings, and tonight is his second board meeting. Did you want to add anything else, Dr. Glover?
No, other than I really do appreciate all the efforts on behalf of the staff. They're diligently working on everything they can to make a successful outcome for students. It's nice to see that. So kudos to them.
So tonight, on the board agenda, we do have a 26-27 proposed revised budget reduction plan. The total for the budget reduction plan, which will be implemented next fiscal year, is $4.8 million. We also have included federal programs estimated budget reductions, which is still unknown at this time for federal programs, $908,300. Child Development Fund reduction at $546,700, and the Child Nutrition Program, $360,000. We will keep the board updated as more information is released. So for the next steps, the district will remain in a negative budget certification at second interim financial report in March 2026 until all the layoff resolutions have been finalized at the end of the 25-26 fiscal year. We hope to regain financial stability by the adoption of the 26-27 budget in June, and subsequently to a qualified or positive budget certification by the first interim financial report in December 2026. You have any questions? We could answer them at this time.
I have a, the report was very thorough. Thank you. Marilyn, well, I don't know if this is a question more for you or for Dr. Glover or maybe for both. I just wanted to ask, so as a part of the board's budget oversight and transparency responsibilities, I just wanted to ask for clarification of which portions of outside legal and investigative services are reflected in our public records, such as aggregated costs, contracts, or invoices, and which categories of materials are typically confidential under law. Just clarification of portions of outside legal and investigation services.
Okay, so you're asking a question about what portions of your legal cost expenditures or public record?
Yes, and from categories that are materials that are not typical, like confidential under law and complaints and such as that, like investigations.
What I would do, and all respect, actually, with the most qualified person to respond would be your legal counsel to those types of questions. We're going to be able to have totals of different types of expenditures, but when you talk about legality, I think that's the person that most rooted in that kind of information.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
the Dodge, just to be very honest.
I think what she's asking for, if I'm not mistaken, trustee Ross, is the amount that we're spending on legal fees.
Well, yes, well, we already know that. it's,
That should be transparent, that's part of our budget.
Yeah, if it's just straight up legal fees expended, that's something I can be shared.
Okay, and, well, given the district's, current fiscal challenges and increased spending, also on outside, legal and investigative services, I would like to know if there's options available for independent fiscal or forensic audits by the county or state authorities to ensure our financial controls and expenditures are sound. Is there any options for that? Can we do that, like, a fiscal, or forensic audit by the county?
We want to speak globally at first because you're still entering the process and now, but due to the fact that you've qualified as negative, the choice. The financial crisis management assistance team, commonly referred to as FICMAT, will be coming into the district. We'll first start with a fiscal health survey. And then proceed from there based on need of the district to be able to analyze all the components of your budget process.
Okay, so
So that's a distinct possibility could be within that particular type of analysis.
okay, yeah, since we are spending a lot of money, for complaints and, outside legal investigations, I think that should be proper. So, that's why I want to recommend the board to consider requesting an independent forensic audit, conducted by the San Diego County of Education, and if appropriate, coordinated with state oversight agencies such as the California Department of Education or the State Controller's Office. So that the district does not, incur additional costs for, this year or the next one. So if you want me to clarify and for the record, I'm requesting again that the board place, on the next agenda for our next regular board meeting in February 2026, a consideration of requesting a county or state forensic audit by the San Diego County Office of Education, and if appropriate, state oversight agencies such as the California Department of Education or the State Controller's Office to the review of the district's financial controls and expenditures. So that's for the record. Thank you.
Teresa, also for the record, the FICMA, it does what they're gonna do.
All of that for, external investigations.
They're gonna review all our financial records.
They'll review all of the financial records and the lines of the school district, and they generally share out a report at the end of that to the governing board, so they're empowered with information as choices are made.
Okay, well, I will love to see how that evaluation comes up and how, do we get the results of that, and if it's the same, if it will have the same, weight as, an evaluation as, the one I'm requesting. So if it doesn't cost the board to make an additional, well, not the board, the district, if it doesn't cost an additional audit like this one, maybe we can even do both.
And just to clarify, Mr. Watkins, we're already doing that.
That's
That is exactly what was described. So, it's already being done.
And I would just suggest, if anybody's not real familiar with the work of the Financial Crisis Management Assistance Team, FICMAT, they do have a publicly held website, and they file all of the reports and post them on it once they're completed in that. So it is a public, transparent, opportunity to review those. And, what I'm not gonna be able to do tonight is have any sort of, deep conversation over forensic versus regular versus FICMAT type of audit. Those are all, in general, my experiences in the eye of the beholder of the audit. But I do know that FICMAT is considered very thorough and a gold standard review for industry budgets.
Yeah, well, I wanted to focus on external investigations only.
That is external. That's external to us, doesn't
Why FICMAT is an external process. It's not controlled by the county office, it's not controlled by any one school district, it's a separate entity.
Oh, well, I don't
I
know.
apologize if I'm misunderstanding.
No, no,
That's
no.
not my goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we're having that, but I just, want to focus most of, the investigations that we, are giving to other entities outside of the district. That if we're paying more people or legal, law representations, external to ours, and how much that's costing us.
Yeah, I would want you to feel confident, all board members, that BICMAT will review every line item of your budget and all expenditures to a very significant degree. Because their goal is to try and offer you the most information as you make decisions moving forward. And you're known for being exceptionally thorough on all items.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, I don't wanna cut you up. Will that be, public? That will be a presentation publicly? Okay. Okay, thank you.
I am very aware of the Big Mac process and I really trust, they do look at many, many areas of the finances, the health of the finance of the district. And I really trust that they're gonna come in here and do this a thorough investigation and we have many of the answers that we are aware of, obviously, because we're living the budget, crisis, just as many districts are. So we thank you for, your presentation and for, the transparency that's very important for not just the people who work here, but our community. Thank you.
One last question, if we already, we already met the qualified standards for our budget, that means that are you gonna stay here with us for the next 7 months?
I would say that you more than likely will have to go through an entire budget process cycle to show that all the expenditure reductions, new expenditures or new resources, everything is applied appropriately to meet your financial obligations before the financial advisor usually gets released. So to play that out in the most common stance, you'll have a March update on the budget. You'll have your normal June adoption of your budget for next school year. But between March and June, you'll also, your CBO will have an opportunity to submit sometimes referred to as a third interim report, an updated report. Once you adopt your new budget in June, and you see how that is being implemented, and because there's fiscal money from the state, some from the feds, then you have to wait till your first interim in the fall before the actual cycle of this review completes. So that you've been able to introduce your revised budget, adopt it, implement it, and see how stable it is, and then the process releases. And then, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we are on 10.2. Revised budget reflection plan for 26-27. And we will have this one forward. Now, 10.2 is to approve a revised budget reduction plan for 26-27. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Do I have a motion by? Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
Second. May I have a vote?
Aye.
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 I'm abstaining from this vote. While I recognize and appreciate the effort made to address the 4.8 million deficit, and I agree with many of the recommendations presented, I remain concerned about the impact of future years in particular. And I am concerned that we might continue to face negative budget that could further impact district staff and ultimately our students. Thank you.
I'll make a motion, Madam President, to adjourn at 7:39 PM.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's 4-0. So we agree